Hi, you know who I am, and I think we both agree that every business that exists in the world is a business of serving customer. Doesn't care if you are on retail, tech business, or maybe healthcare. Your only objective is to serve your customer by using your product or service. Sam Walton once said that we only have one boss, which is the customer, and they can easily fire us by buying or using another product or service. And that's why we tried our best to create a perfect development cycle based on customer-oriented approach without compromising about the product quality, either the software development schedule. This is the last video of our Startup 101 series, and this is what we call the execution process. If you haven't seen our first two videos on this series, then I would say you can stop right here and spend some time to watch them first, because without those two videos, then you won't have a complete information of specific terms that I'll be using on this video. But if you did already, then that's great. Let's move on the next step. You probably get confused when I mention about a customer-oriented approach. The customer here means your product's customers. Let's take a look on one of our long-term clients that we've been working on for the past 5 years, Rumpressuni. If you take a look on hoteltechreview.com or other review sites out there, you can see that Rumpressuni has an amazing customer support, and that's exactly what we implement and we standardize on each and every our project. Let's see this way. So you could probably have a perfect cycle from software development standpoint, but at the same time you also can have the worst customer service. And the idea is how we could balance these two, and one of our procedure is how the way we could manage a bug fix. So let's say one of your customer raised a bug to the customer service, and the customer service guy forwarded it to the development team. I will explain about Scrum later, but long story short, before we start a sprint, we usually do a sprint planning, and we also usually spare our sprint time 10 to 20% in case there's a bug reported and we can jump and fix the bug right away. If not, then we could use that time to do technical debt. Alright, let's dive in a little bit into Scrum methodology. So Scrum methodology is something that we use to run our sprint, and our sprint normally will take 2 weeks to complete. And inside Scrum methodology, it mainly has 5 meetings. The first one is what we call the refinement session. In this specific session, we will take business requirements, look at the acceptance criteria, and each of us who will take the ticket and work on the ticket, normally that will be back and front end and QA, we will give estimation and hours required to complete the specific ticket. Once all has been specified, we will mark this ticket as refined, and we will use this ticket on sprint planning session. Next is sprint planning session. Normally, this session will be held on first week of Monday, and inside this session, we will take refined ticket from refinement session, and we will add it up into our sprint scope. This will help us to track the velocity and capacity of each team member. Once the capacity of all team members has been maxed out, then we will close the session and start the sprint itself. Then we have daily stand-up meetings. So this is an everyday quick 15 minutes meetings for everyone to deliver their updates of their work, and is there any concern to be raised. If so, a related person can follow up and set another meeting to solve the concern. At the end of the sprint, we have sprint review sessions. So in this specific session, we will show and demo features what we've been working on for the past sprint to our clients, and it's follow up by sprint retrospective session. And in this session, we mainly will ask 3 things here. First one is what went well on the sprint. Second one is what didn't went well on the sprint. And the third one is what improvement can be added from the sprint, so we can implement that in upcoming sprint. We have a Scrum methodology explanation in more details on separate video. So if you are on YouTube, you can check the link inside the description box. Or if you are on the blog right now, you can check the link inside the article itself. Alright, that's a quick overview related with the Scrum methodology. And next, I'd like to explain about how do we maintain the product quality. And one of the procedures is by defining and standardize what we call the minimum code quality. With code quality, we split that into two main things. First one is what we call the pre-commit process, and this process will run before the developer or programmer want to push their change to the code repository. And in this specific process, it will run two things. First one is code linting and code formatting. So we need to make sure that the change or the code have to meet the standardized format for each programming language. And the second one is run the unit test. We have to make sure that all unit tests has been passed and complete before it gets uploaded to the code repository. Second one is about how do we maintain and monitor the code quality, and we are using SonarQube to do this. With SonarQube, we can easily set a minimum threshold for multiple things. Let's say a minimum threshold for unit test coverage. And not just that, it also shows some inside information about the code itself, like the code maintainability, the security hotspot, and many more. So whenever something goes below our minimum threshold, it will send an alert to us that there's some specific code doesn't meet our minimum code quality, and the developer who work on that has to fix that and push that before it's get deployed to our dev environment. Alright, let's do a recap. So from this video, we have three things to keep in mind. First one is how do we come up with a development cycle based on customer-oriented approach. So we could balance between the server development side and customer support side. Second one is how we could come up with the on-time development schedule and well-documented product. By applying Scrum methodology inside the sprint, we can easily achieve that one. The last one is how do we maintain the product quality by applying the minimum code quality process. And thank you so much for watching this video and the whole Startup 101 series. See you on the next video.